Hi, namaste. Caroline's asked us to put together some helpful tips that can be also helpful to you, and these are what helped me on my challenging journey. So here we go. Okay, the first thing for me really was that I needed to clear my emotional programs. So the emotional programs that run us, that continually create the same thing happening over and over. So the way that we do that is by actually going back to the memories that we have and speaking to the people. So we're not going to speak to them face to face. We're going to speak to them as though they're just sitting in front of us. And we're going to come back to a memory, say we were 5 years old, we're going to bring in the 5-year-old, and we're going to allow this 5-year-old to speak one-on-one to each of the people involved and express how this little 5-year-old felt at the time that this experience was happening. Because the reason we hold these memories and we store the emotion is because we haven't been able to express how we felt at the time that these things were happening. So once the younger you're letting them, the people involved, reply as well. So you're having a conversation with them, a dialogue, keeping up the dialogue. And once this younger one has finished and there's nothing more to say, because you'll come to a point where you've actually said everything you need to say, you then let this present you also speak about that situation and say what needs to be said to the people involved. Once that your present self's also finished, you then turn to the younger you and you ask the younger you whether you can actually forgive this person, again, one-on-one, one at a time. And we're acknowledging too that we're not condoning the behaviour. So we're just going to actually forgive the person, but we may never ever condone the behaviour. And the younger you will say, yes, that's great, you get that person, that younger you to do the forgiveness. And if this younger you in any one of these conversations at any one point with anyone has an issue in not being able to say, bring themselves to the forgiveness, you ask, what haven't you said? So there'll be more there that this younger one needs to say, and you just allow them to continue this conversation until they've finished saying what they need to. As soon as there's an emptiness and there's nothing more to say, you're then allowing the present you also. We're asking the present you whether, again, not condoning the behaviour of this person, but to be able to forgive them. And if so, go ahead and do that. If not, then what else haven't we said? And if we do this with every single person and every single memory, what we're doing is we're breaking the emotional connection to that memory, and we're allowing then this forgiveness to take over. We've come to a point where there's no more charge in the memory. There's no more emotional patterning that's being created. So what it does is it breaks down the whole network. There may be other strong memories that have come through, or strong emotion connected to those memories, with other ones further up. Might be when we were 10 or 15 or whatever it might be. Also speak with those people. Take your time and really feel and express how you feel it. Not, we don't need to be all nice about it if we're not feeling nice about it. So on an energetic level, what it's doing also is releasing those people that are involved with the memories, so that they are also able to move on and expand their lives and move out of certain patterning and programming that might be carried on. The other thing was, once I got through the emotional programs and released a lot of that emotional stuff, I was then able to become more mindful about the way that I thought. Because until I tried to change and create a lot of positive affirmation for myself and change the way that I thought about a lot of things, but it just didn't work until I'd actually released the emotion connected to these memories. So once I'd cleared a lot of the triggers, I was then able to start reprogramming my thinking. So the next part for me was, the second little tip is about being mindful. So in the mindfulness, it's about being really present in the moment, about where you are in your thinking and what you're doing with those thoughts, because every thought we have has an emotion connected to it. We can't have a thought without an emotion. It just depends on how much of a charge in the emotional is or the feeling is that we create it into an emotion. So in being mindful, you can actually just be aware of those things. If we're telling ourselves we're a silly cow or something like that, we can actually switch it, catch ourselves in the moment. And I used to see sort of like a little delete button, and I'd delete that and I'd reprogram it with something more positive, so that we're not continually going over the same thing all the time, and bringing the same patterns, just retracking the same thing and the same patterns all the time. We're starting to create new feelings in new situations rather than just the same old things. So being very mindful, just being aware of what you're thinking, and the times that you do speak to yourself in your head, being aware of what it is you're saying to yourself. Because I know when I was speaking, a lot of the stuff I was saying to myself, I wouldn't have had a friend who spoke to me like that, yet I was saying it all to myself anyway. So just to be really mindful about what you're saying, like we've said. The other tip I just need to have a look is definitely, once we've shifted those two things, the emotional and the mind and the thought processes that we have, and stop those old patterns from just playing out all the time, what we can do then is we can then start loving ourselves more. I was then able to, once I'd stopped all this harsh chatter that I used to have about myself, I was then able to, in that mindfulness, start reprogramming the way that I thought, what I said to myself. And one of the major big things that really took a toll on me, and actually recognizing how much I really didn't love myself, was when I was looking in the mirror trying to tell myself that I loved myself. I actually heaved whenever I went to try and say, I love you, Mandy. And that really spoke huge volumes to me. It was, I really did not like myself. And I actually felt, obviously, made myself sick. So I started, it took a while before I could actually look at myself very warmly in the mirror and tell myself that I loved myself, and really feel that. Now I can feel this warmth in my body when I do that. And I'm acknowledging to myself all the time now, more and more, how good I am, how well I do something, whereas before it was very negative statements I was giving myself. So just start really celebrating you, and like I say, change the way that what you're saying, how you speak to yourself, and the way that you, when you start, changing the expressions and the judgment within yourself to self, what happens is you start feeling the change within your body. There's more peace within my body now. There's more, I don't feel the charges in them anymore. There's just that peace and quietness and stillness that I can come to. And I can honestly say that I love myself now. And that's huge. That's huge from where I was, truly. So those three things, if you can take them in that order though, do the emotional work, because you're not going to change much until you change that. They're the triggers, they're the triggers, they're the reactive things that we keep doing. And so then you can start reprogramming the mind and the thoughts. And it really is just being aware in the moment and being just so mindful every day. And it doesn't take long. It really doesn't. You can, shift a lot of stuff. If you knew me before, you'd know it's definitely possible. And just start really, celebrating you, telling yourself how much you do care about you. Once I started doing that, I actually started making better choices for myself. Healthier relationships started turning up around me and with me. And so more and more love came into my life. So, it is us doing it. We have to do it. We can't avoid doing it. We have to actually take action and step up. So hopefully these tips will help you. They definitely help me. It is the key. Emotional programming, releasing the emotion, is really the key to being able to really adjust everything else, the mind, the thoughts, and the feelings within our body. So I hope these are helpful. If there's anything else that we can do for you, please let me know. Just get hold of us. Everything's available on the site there and in the book, so on how to contact us or me. So have fun, enjoy, and be the light in your world. Namaste.